Hello, dear viewers. My name is Dr. Mohmad Pandit, Assistant Professor at the Department of English, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today in this video lecture, I will deliberate on the topic that's report writing. Here in this video lecture, you will come to know about what's report writing, what are the different essentials of report writing, and what are the different formats for report writing. To start with the definition. According to Oxford English Dictionary, a report is a statement of the result of an investigation or of any matter on which definite information is required. Now here, from this definition, we come to know certain points. For example, we come to know that a report actually it's a piece of investigation, or you can say that it's investigative piece. And the second important point is that in this investigative piece, we have to mention only and only definite information. That means information that's related to the subject. When we say the definite here, we can't take digressions. Here, we have to remain confined to the topic. Here, we have to reveal only that information which is related to the topic or the subject. That's why we say it's an investigative piece, or it's an investigation on any matter. It can be anything. It can be, for example, a road accident. It can be an annual day report. It can be anything. But the most important or the prerequisite thing is that we have to mention the related information. Information that's important. Or in other words, we can say here we have to mention only definite information. Here we can't take digressions. And there's one more definition of this report writing. In fact, the very simple one, the most lucid and explicit one. This report writing it's like a narrative piece. It's like a narrative piece where we put everything in logical order. Here we have to remain brief, short, to the point. Here we can't take digressions. Here we can't deviate our given topic. That's why, according to Richard Kelvin, defines a report as an objective oral or written presentation, structure to communicate information, investigate a problem, record ideas and facts, or interpret and or provide solution to problem. Now, from this definition, we come to know that report, it's an objective piece. When we say the objective means that it's an unbiased piece. Here, we can't express our personal feelings, our subjective feelings, our personal emotions. Here, one need to be very objective, to the point, very objective, unbiased. That's why it's an objective piece. And it can be both to the oral and the written presentation, and structure to communicate information. Its purpose is to inform. Its purpose is to give information. Or it can be investigation or investigate a problem. And the third one is record ideas. A report can be for the mere purpose of recording ideas and facts, or interpret or to provide solution to problem. Or for example, we have these different scientific reports, and the main aim of those scientific reports is to provide solution to any problem. Now, There's one more definition, and it's the Peter Little. He sees a report as a document which provides an account of something witnessed or examined or of an investigation together with conclusions arrived at as a result of the investigation. Now, again, it's a kind of document that accounts anything that's witnessed or anything that's examined. For example, you're the witness of an car accident, a roadside accident. And here, if you want to write a report on that car accident or the roadside accident, you have to give every detail, whatever you saw there. You have to give every detail, and that too in a very logical order. Briefly, to the point, you have to remain to the point. You can't take the digressions or the sides, or when it is sides means that one need to remain objective, one need to remain unbiased. That's why sometimes, for example, we end a newspaper report according to sources. We never say that according to me. We say according to sources. Why? In order to remain objective, in order to remain unbiased. And therefore, from these definitions, we come to know that a report is an organized, factual, objective presentation of information following a systematic pattern. That is, the first thing is it's organized. That means it's well ordered, it's well structured. Here, everything, whatever we write in a report, must be in order. That means it must be there must be the spontaneity, or that everything must flow with spontaneity. There must be this spontaneous flow of information or ideas. Nothing should seem out of place or abrupt. And the next one is it should be factual. Whatever you're writing in a report, it should be the factual. We can, yes, of course, we can add, for example, data, the graphics here, so as to substantiate our facts. Here, it's the objective. Again, when I say the objective presentation, it means unbiased. Here, it's not subjective piece of writing. Here, I can't express my feelings, emotions, or thoughts on any matter. And following a systematic pattern, as I told you, it follows a certain pattern, order. That means the report must be as a whole. It should not look like a part. That means it should be complete in itself. Now, a report must carry these things or consider these things. The first one is the present information, not an argument. And the report, it must present information as it is, not as it ought to be. That means here we're not supposed to put forth an argument. The next one is meant to be read quickly by the reader. It should be short and brief so that the reader can finish it in a one go. So that reader should finish it quickly as quickly as possible. And the next one is the uses number headings and subheadings. Here in report we can use headings and subheadings so that we can classify the information. For example, if you are writing a report, you can introduce headings and subheadings so as to classify the information, so as to separate the information, so that it can become very easy for reader to catch up with the things that he or she needs. That's why, for example, if you are writing a newspaper report, we put a heading, and heading it's followed by subheading. In Sometimes we call it the caption and then the subheadings. Here we can introduce different types of headings and headings and subheadings in order to classify the information. The next one is use short, concise paragraphs and dot points where applicable. Here We need to introduce short paras or the concise paras. That means whatever information we put in a report, it must be short, to the point, and brief. That's why it's often said that brevity is the soul of it. One need to be, because here report demands uh, one need to be very precise, very short, very brief, and to the point. That's why here we put everything in less letters or in less words. Dot points here, we can introduce the dot points so that reader can quickly go through the whole content. Use graphics wherever possible, tables and graphs. Here we can introduce graphs. Wherever it is possible, we can introduce table. That means the data, so as to support our, for example, facts, support our information. We need an abstract and also called an executive summary. Yes, we often write an abstract or executive summary for reports, for the long reports. Does not always need reference and bibliography. Yes, of course, it does need a bibliography or, for that matter, references, and is often followed by recommendation or the appendix. Sometimes, yes, of course, we end a report with suggestions. Sometimes we end with the recommendations, and sometimes we end it with the action taken by the authority. For example, if there's a road accident, and if you're writing a report on a road accident, for example, or car accident for that matter, uh, how you end that report? You just give us the information about how authorities or what authorities what authorities do the next, how they take action, or the action taken by the authority. You conclude your report with the action taken by the authority. That means it can be the police, it can be the administration. Now the next is what to include in a report. And the first one is the brief details of the event. In a report, we just give the brief details of the event. That means we put only important information in a report. Consequences and effects of the report. That means, as I told you, that it's action taken by the authority. At the end of the report, we just put the recommendations, or we just put what we call action taken by the authority. Uh, Evaluation of the statistical data and analytics. Yes, we here we do the in detail research. We see the each and every point of the data, because these reports are the reliable, and they can be only reliable if you put facts or if you put the right data in it. Interpretation from the information. This is another thing that we should include in our report. How the information is relevant to others, and that's very important. How it's helpful or how it's relevant to the others. We should include these points in any report. Now, the next one is the different essential elements of a report. First one is the correct information. Before writing a report, we should, on any subject, we should do intensive research work. We should look for the facts, we should look for the data, we should look for the graphs, we should look for each and everything. And then and thereafter, we can write a report. That means a report should be based on uh, well research work or good research work. Any wrong information can have an adverse effect on audience. That's why, because audience, they take report as a facts. They take reports as something which is factual, which relies on the data and the factual information. Therefore, one need to do a lot of research while writing a report, and never mention the wrong information, because it can lead to adverse things or adverse effects. And the next one is the topic clarity, and your topic must be clear. This topic clarity, and when we talk about the topic clarity, it is the title that gives us the whole idea of the report. That's why we often say that the title must be short, brief, to the point. It must be apt and appropriate, but at the same time, it must be catchy if you are writing a report for newspaper. That's why we say the report topic uh, should not be unclear. There should not be ambiguity in the topic. It should not. It should be straightforward, to the point, and clear, lucid and clear. Before going deep into topic, an introduction is much, and it's the introduction that just introduces the topic in any report. Therefore, there must be the topic clarity. And the next one is the right of follow. The report should be divided into some essential parts such as introduction, body, conclusion, and summary. These are the essential parts of any report. Later on, we will take these points one by one. The first, you need to understand that every report starts with the title, or you can say the, for example, heading, and then introduction, and then the main body of a report, then conclusion, and last we put the summary. And excellent presentation. That's the beauty of any report. If you want to determine, if you want to assess the beauty of any report, it wholly and solely depends upon how it's presented. Therefore, a good title, or you can say the caption, if you're writing a report for newspaper, and subheading, we can put the subheading, bullet points, so as to highlight the important points, important things. Tables, we can put it so as to make it appear more genuine, more reliable. Reference links can be included in the report to make it impressive, and it should be well structured. That means the every information, whatever we put in a report, it must be put in a logical order. And here, therefore, the presentation, it's all about the presentation. The presentation we must be good. We should put things in a right manner. And the next one is the compulsion. Information given in the report should be unbiased and complete. When we say the complete, it means our report should appear as a whole, not as a part. It should be complete in itself. It should carry each and every information on that subject, uh, whatever you are writing on any subject. It should carry complete information. That's why we say that it should appear as a whole, not as a part. It should carry each and everything related to the subject. And now the next one is there's some points to keep in mind during report writing. There are no personal opinion is allowed in a report. As I told you that it should be unbiased. It should not be subjective. It should be objective. And the second one is the report must be topic oriented. Uh, while writing a report, your title, in fact, guides, or the title navigates us through the whole report, because we should remain confined to the title. We can't take digressions, so we can't deviate from the title. Um, that's why the report, it's the topic oriented. Here we can't change the topic, we can't take the digressions. And the next one is this: the structure should be neat and clean, and it should be well structured. Every information should be put in a logical order. It must have a natural flow of information. And the next one is the tables, bullet points, graphs can be included as a proof of information. Here we can add these things in order to make our report more reliable or more genuine. And the next one is adding a summary to highlight the main points are very common. Yes, we of course add summary so as to showcase the main points or the headings. And the next one is the report may include appendices, and often it has pre-designed layout. Yes, of course, before we attempt to write a report, actually we draft a format, we draft a design, and we write according to that design, according to that format. And the features of well-written report. These are the different features of a report. A good report has a clarity of thought, And here, if you are writing a report and that report must have a clarity of thought, that means everything must be clear. Here, there should be no confusion of information. That's why we say the clarity of thought. If you're writing, for that matter, on any subject, if for example, you're writing a report on any reflective thing, for example, you're writing a report on patriotism or for that matter, kextocracy, or for that matter, you're writing a report on like mm, uh, neoliberalism, or for that matter you're writing anything, whatever you're writing on, your thought must be clear, your thought process must be clear. uh, you should uh, you should not have certain confusions on the subject matter. That's why now we say that there must be the clarity of thought. A good report is complete and self-explanatory. That's the beauty of a report writing, that a report must be complete in itself. As I told you, it must be whole, it must contain each and everything related that it demands from the subject. And the next one is, the good report is comprehensive but compact. Here we have to put every information, but in a very compact manner. That means uh, in few words we have to put a lot of information. A good report has a proper date and signature. Yes, these are the important things for a report. A good report, it has a date and it has a signature. A good report is presented in a lucid satire. The satire must be clear, it must be lucid. There should don't use ambiguous words in any report, or the words that have pun on them. Write the words which are simple, to the point, clear, without any ambiguity. And the next one, types of report. We have the different types of report, and we classify these reports on the basis of the subject matter. For example, we have the eyewitness reports. Here, in these reports, or these reports give an account of an event or experience. And such an event or experience may range from a case of accident, theft, labor, unrest, robbery, anything. And this type of report is normally presented in a narrative form and chronological order. When we talk about the eyewitness reports are the reports where you have the first-hand information of the things. And here we can put whatever we put in a report, we put it in a very narrative manner. That means a type of storytelling. And we reveal the information in a logical order. And that means the step by step we reveal the information. And it's a narrative piece. It's a narrative piece. It's like as if you're writing a story of an event. And here it can be on accident, it can be on theft, labor unrest, robbery, anything. Here, yeah, the important point is that whatever you put in a report, we put it in a very chronological order. The order is very important. We narrate the things uh, as they happen. That's why we often say that the reports, for that matter, if you are talking about newspaper report, every report, for example, demands these things. For example, what happened, uh, when happened, how happened, why happened, and then the action taken by the authority. For example, what happened? What happened means it can be, as I told you, it can be an accident, for example, roadside accident or car accident, bus accident. What happened? We have to mention, first of all, we have to mention what happened. Oh, and the second is when happened. We have to give the time. if it's accident, then we have to put the time. When happened? When means the time, schedule of time. And then how happened? How happened here means we give the whole procedure of things. We narrate the whole story, how it happened. Then we give why happened, what is the real cause of this accident, why happened, and at the end we write action taken. We conclude such type of report, this accident report. So it concluded with action taken by the authority, and that authority can be the police, it can be the administration. Okay. Now the next one, uh, work reports. Work report is a formal document that discusses information about a particular topic related to an aspect of your job. It, as the word suggests, it's a work report, and it's a kind of formal document. And here, this type of a report discusses information about particular topic related to an aspect of your job. And then we have the next one, that is the laboratory report. This gives an account of the procedure, result, and significance of an experiment with with findings and conclusions. As we also call these reports as scientific reports. Here we follow the procedure. We give the account of a procedure, and the result and the significance of experiment, and with findings and conclusion. Therefore, it should be more objective. It should be more unbiased. It should not be subjective. Here we can't just express our whims. It outlines for example, analysis and evaluate observable facts scientifically to form a report. Here, we analyze the things, we evaluate the things. In fact, we observe each and every proceedings before we put it in a report. And the next one is the progress report. A progress report gives detailed information on the progress made in any establishment, the current tasks undertaken during the past weeks, months, quarter, or year. That's why we call it the progress. And here it gives the detailed information on the progress made in any establishment. And here we not only look at the progress made by any establishment in the past, but we also see the current tasks. And here we give the whole assessment of progress in this report. Then we have the investigatory report, and the head of any unit or establishment may constitute a committee to look into any matter or issue confronting result. After investigation, a report is sent and with the detailed information on the matter. This type of report is called investigative or the special report. As the word says, it's an investigative report. Here, a committee is formed. And this committee is head by some senior member of that committee, and here the proper investigation takes place on any matter. And here we look for the facts, we look for the clues, and we see each and everything before we set the proceedings. And the next one is the analytical report. Analytical report are necessitated by the problems in setup or opportunities that have come up in a business setup. And so they persuade the readers to accept certain conclusions as being factual and valid. Here we do the analysis. Here we put the things that are properly analyzed, that are properly evaluated, and that are properly assessed. And the next thing is the structure of a report. The structure of a report is flexible, that means it's elastic. It varies from report to report, and it depends upon the nature of the subject. It depends on the type and the forms one may be writing. The report, however, has the following structures. Like the first one is the report writing. If you're writing a newspaper report, then we call it a caption. And this caption, it can be followed by subheadings. And the important thing about this title, or important thing about this caption, is that it must be short, brief, it must be to the point, and it must be relevant to the topic. And one more thing, which is very important, if it is, for example, newspaper report, it must be catchy, it must be attractive, if it is a newspaper report. A report title provides a short but clear idea of the subject matter of the report. It must be accurate and concise. That's why, because it's the a report must be to the point, it must be exact, apt, and appropriate. Because the title or the caption gives us the whole idea of the text, or whole idea what's following next. The next one is the summary. A report may include a brief summary of the content of report. It's usually brief and informative. If you are writing a big or the lengthy reports, there we put a summary in order to highlight or showcases important points or important information. The next one is the introduction. The introduction gives us the whole idea of the report. Here we put everything in few words. That's why we say the introduction gives a kind of background of the report. It gives us the background, it sets the stage for the main body, and it gives the reader some kind of ideas as to the reasons for writing any piece of report. And a background should be given so that the reader can understand the significance of the report. For example, if you are writing a newspaper report, in the introduction, we just give the holistic information on the subject. We just give the holistic information, or we give the information each and every. We try to put the important information in the beginning, and that too in few words. And then in the second para, we give the detailed information. In fact, the second para of a report is simply an extension of the first para. If you are mentioning in first para, if you are just briefly mentioning the main idea of the report, then in the second para, what we do, we just elaborate the first para. In the second para, we give the detailed information. That's why we often say that the second para of a report, it is the extension of the first para. As we say that this extension, the second para, it forms the main body of a report. And the body of a report provides the material which the writer presents to support his point of view. And the body is divided into sections and subsections, each one marked with the suitable headings and subheadings. In the body, we give the detailed information. First, we give the introduction, and then we write the body, and the body is just the extension of the introduction. Here in body, we give the detailed information. Here we can add, for example, graphs, data, pictures, so as to support the point of view. Next one is the recommendations. And recommendations prefer suggestions on the issue present in the report. They give insights on what need to be done to solve the problem being investigated. Again, the recommendations ought to reflect the writer's level of reasoning and sense of judgment. Yes, there are some reports that end with their recommendations. As I told you, there are some reports that end with the action taken by the authority, and at the same time, there are few reports that end with the recommendation. For example, for example, a director of AIMS, he's on a visit to South Delhi, and there was a news from the South Delhi that some kind of infection is there, and people are suffering from some kind of infection. And after making a visit to that South Delhi, then the director he uh, just gives the recommendation what people should do in order to avoid that infection, and that's why we call it the recommendations. And now I'm as a reporter, I want to report on that infection, and I put the whole story. At the end, I just give the recommendations as put forth by the director of films. That's why it's a kind of suggestion. It's a kind of, that's why we call it the recommendation. And then we have the conclusion present the main points arising from the report, and this should be given in a conclusive, definite, and a brief manner. These three things you need to keep in mind. Our conclusion, it must be conclusive. It should include each and everything, and our reports, they should not conclude abruptly. In fact, there must be a natural conclusion. Okay, and the next one, it should give the definite information, and that in a very brief manner. Here, the longer report, however, include the following lines. For example, the title page. If you're writing a longer piece of writing or a longer report, it includes the title page, acknowledgements, summary, table of content, introduction, terms of reference or scope, procedure, findings, conclusion, recommendations, and references, bibliography, appendices. And the next one, this we'll take these points in detail. And the first point is the title page. The title page is the first page of the long report. It contains title, author's name, the report, reference, number, and date. This is about if you are writing a longer report. There, the first page or the title page of a report, it consists of the title, author's name, the report's reference number and date. Reference number and date is important. And then after that, after the title page, we put acknowledgement. And on this page, the writer expresses gratitude to those who have contributed and helped him during the course of work in one way or another way, directly or indirectly. And the next we put the summary so as to give the gist, so as to give the main idea of the whole report. And this sets out the main points of the report from the beginning, middle, and end. The end product of summary is the concise overview of a report. It is just the summary of a whole report. Here we highlight or we showcase the main or the important points of a report. And then after that, we put the table of content. They show the sections and subsections of the report with the pages of the report where each may be found. Here, this table of content, it helps us to locate the information quickly without wasting time. And the next point is the terms of reference. This section states the goals and scope of the report. That's why we call it the terms of references. And this section, it sets or it states the goals and the scope of the report. Then it's followed by the procedure. Under procedure, the report a writer state the methodology or use in the uh, in tracking down the problem, getting the data, and the procedure may be in the form of an interview, or it on any other form, or it can adopt any other form in order to gather factual information. And this procedure it is followed by the findings. Under this section of the report, the writer gives authentic discoveries made during the course of the investigation. All the material collected are interpreted and analyzed. Here, that's why we call it the finding. Here, we give the very result of our findings. So, we put forth authentic discoveries made during the whole course of investigation. And then it's followed by the conclusion. This section gives an unbiased judgment of the findings made. Here, at the end of the report, such kind of report, we start this conclusion with the unbiased judgment of the findings. And the personal opinions are avoided and objective statements are made to prove the authenticity of the claims and allegations as the case may be. Here, it's very important to know that in conclusion actually it concludes the whole report. Therefore, the conclusion it it should be very objective. It should be objective. It should be unbiased. It should not adopt a certain kind of notions. In fact, it must be without any bias, without any personal interest. That's why, because it gives the very cracks, it gives the very gist of the whole report. And the next one is the recommendation. Recommendations demonstrate the writer's sense of judgment. They are actually meant to proceed whatever the discoveries are in the findings. And the recommendation they just are they're just the sense of judgment. They just determine the sense of author judgment. And next to we have the references. The books and the materials considered in the course of the work are arranged correctly. Usually, this adopts alphabetical arrangement. It's the information about the books that are used by the author in this whole. And then we have the appendices, that is the raw data used for the report, are also present in an appendix. Some other materials, such as, for example, blank questionnaires and copies of written texts, maps, and charts are included in the appendix. And these are basically meant to show the original form in which certain piece of information occur. It was all about the report writing. Hope you have understood this. We will meet in the next video with another topic. Till then, goodbye.
Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.